Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible to all of you? Anyone can reply? Okay. So actually, we will be learning today architectural design in software engineering, and we are following the contents from Somerville book, 8th edition, and this is in chapter number 11. So let me tell you, like before going into a depth of each and every concepts of architectural design, let me tell you that why it is so much important to deal with such topic. So you have so many different examples where the softwares can vary, right? अगर एक सॉफ्टवेयर है जो कि एक डेस्कटॉप ओरिएंटेड है तो ऑब्वियसली उसका डिजाइन एंड आर्किटेक्चर एंड प्रोग्रामिंग अलग होगा एक डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड से. Let me tell you that you have another, you know, software that works into a distributed systems. तो उसकी प्रोग्रामिंग में APIs आ जाएंगे, उसकी प्रोग्रामिंग में IP एड्रेस, पोर्ट एड्रेस, everything will be coming. So it reflects that when the architecture of the system changes, the design and its program also changes. अगर एक स्टैंड अलोन सिस्टम है जो कि एक ही सिंगल सिस्टम में काम करता है, वहां पे हमें आईपी एड्रेस, मेश टोपोलॉजी, ये सब की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. पोर्ट नंबर की जरूरत नहीं है, एपीआईज की जरूरत नहीं है. लेकिन अगर ये वेब बेस्ड distributed system है, then so many things will be coming like APIs, protocols, system architecture. It can be peer to peer, it can be client server, you know. So that's why architecture plays an important role. जैसा सिस्टम का आर्किटेक्चर वैसा उसका डिजाइन और उसका प्रोग्रामिंग बेस. Is it clear? So do you all understood that why we need to focus on architectural design? आपके पास different different system है architect के, right? So that's why we need to follow this different architecture, and later on by the end of this chapter we will see that कि if it's a different architecture we require a different designing technique for this. तो ये सारे कंटेंट्स हम पढ़ने वाले हैं. ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? द ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू इंट्रोड्यूस आर्किटेक्चरल डिजाइन and to discuss its importance. Every architectural design will be having its own importance. जैसे कि अपने पास एक डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम है, तो अगर हम उस पर सिक्योरिटी इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहते हैं तो उसका डिजाइन अलग हो जाएगा और उसका इम्पोर्टेंस भी अलग रहेगा. ठीक है. So to explain the architectural design decisions that have to be made, basically three complementary architectural styles we will be following. We will be following its organization, its decomposition, how they are going to control each other. Control each other matlab you have a distributed systems. A very big system will be classified into smaller subsystems, and these subsystems will be communicating with each other. जैसे कैसे अपन एक ई कॉमर्स में हम कुछ खरीदते हैं, कुछ गुड्स खरीदते हैं, then you have third party for the payment services, right? So payment service जो है वो third party के through होता है. So every module or subsystems will be communicating with each other. So obviously we need to impose the concept of control of communication in between these subsystems. Then the fourth one is to discuss reference architecture, which are used to communicate and compare your different architecture. So these are the main objectives of this subject topic of your software engineering, of your architectural design. Am I clearly audible to all of you? Am I audible? Hello, clearly audible? Okay. So the topic covered will be architectural design decisions, system organization, decomposition style, control style, and reference architecture. So we can see that we have the concept of system organization. क्योंकि जब भी हम कोई भी सिस्टम को जब हम क्लासिफाई करते हैं, सब सिस्टम में डिवाइड करते हैं, तो उसका एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर रहता है. जैसे आपको पता है थ्री टायर आर्किटेक्चर. In three-tier architecture, you have at the front end, you will be having GUI. Then in the middle, second tier, you will be having your business logic. and in the third tier you will be having your database management system. So हर एक system का एक organization होता है, and along with that organization you need to decompose it. It means that you need to classify your system into subsystems, and then what you need to do, you need to control this. So that's why the topic will be containing your system organization, its decomposition, its controlling, and then some of the reference architectures we will be following, right? So architectural software architecture means it's a design process for identifying the subsystem making up a system. And the framework for subsystem that control and communicate is called as architectural design. So एक architectural design में क्या है? एक subsystems है, and how these subsystems will be controlled and how they will be communicating. This is called as an architectural design. I should give you one example for the same. जैसे कि you cannot log in unless and until you will be registered. And once you are logging into any of the website, you need to write your credentials, right? Usernames and password. Then क्या होगा? ये username and password जो आपने अपने GUI में डाला है, it will be going back to the server. Now server is another subsystem. और सर्वर में वो जाके टेस्ट होता है कि yes, it is the correct one, but it's a wrong credentials. So this whole thing is called as an architectural design. So architecture is the abstract design concepts of an applications. Basically, it is a structure of moving parts and how they will be connected to each other. The output of this design process is a description of a system architecture. So ये describe करेगा with a flow कि yes, यहाँ से connectivity इस सब system पे जाएगा, ये उसके datas होंगे, ये उसके interface होंगे, everything will be mentioned back there. Do you all understood this one? Say yes or no. Understood? Say yes or no. Okay. So in architectural design, you have an early stage of the system design process. So, you know, if it's an early stage, then we will be talking about specifications and design process. And that's the second point here. So, and this will be carried out in parallel with some of the specifications activities. It involves identifying major system of components and as well as their communications. So, how you will identify the system characteristics? हम जो भी system के जो architectural design हम जो भी हम देख रहे हैं, उसकी characteristics क्या होनी चाहिए? In other words, as a developer or as an architect, software system architect, if you are making a architectural design, तो उसके अंदर क्या क्या characteristics होने चाहिए, वो सब चीज इस स्लाइड में बताया गया है. Is it clear? And you know, it's obvious that if I'm going to make an architecture, वो architecture optimal होना चाहिए. अगर वो architecture optimal होगा, तो obviously उसका performance अच्छा होगा, security will be good, it will be providing you safety, availability will be nice, and maintainability will also be good. So those things we will be learning in this particular slide. So performance means how your system is working. So performance के लिए क्या करना होगा? Localize critical operations and minimize the communications. जितना communication कम होगा, performance उतना अच्छा होगा. Can you tell me why? जितना communication कम होगा, communication between whom? Between the subsystems, guys. जितना communication कम होगा उतना system अच्छा है, right? क्यों? बताओ. Can you tell me why? Yes, modularity will be there. Very nice. Good. Less call makes more cohesion and less coupling. Very nice. Jainil. Very good answer. हम क्या चाहते हैं? कि हमेशा हमारा सिस्टम जो हो उसमें कोहेशन ज़्यादा हो और कपलिंग कम हो। कपलिंग जितना ज़्यादा होगा उतना ज़्यादा डिपेंडेंसी होगा, और उस केस में अगर हम किसी एक को चेंज करेंगे दिस विल आल्सो चेंज द अदर वन। So that is what we need to focus on performance. Then comes security. Security में क्या है? Use a layer architecture with a critical assets in the inner layer. So layer architecture use करना है, और उसके जो भी लेयरिंग के अंदर जो भी कॉन्सेप्ट है उसको उसके अंदर एनकैप्सुलेट करना है, तो सिक्योरिटी ज़्यादा रहेगा। Safety means localize safety critical features in a small number of subsystems. So you have n number of subsystems, impose safety rules upon that one. You have availability. Availability means whenever I am asking services from the web server should be available to give services back to you. ठीक है, तो सर्विसेज के लिए ये लोग क्या यूज कर रहे हैं? रिडंडेंट एंड फॉल्ट टॉलरेंस। सो रिडंडेंट मीन्स अगर मेरे पास एक सर्वर है, मैं उसका एक और इमेज क्रिएट करके रखूंगा। तो अगर मेरा प्राइमरी सर्वर अगर सर्विसेज नहीं दे पा रहा है, इट्स ओके, I have a backup service, a redundant service, not that will be giving services back to you. So my system won't go down. My system will be always available because I have redundant components. Fault tolerance means the same thing. If the primary server fails, I will be having the another backup. Let us take an example of computer network. If I need to go from system A to system B, I have multiple paths. Let us say 3 paths I am having. If path A is so much busy, no problem. I'm having path B and path C. So this is called as a fault tolerance. Any single failure won't fail the entire system. You will be having a backup support for that. Then comes your maintainability. Use fine-grained self-contained components. Fine-grained मतलब कि हम systems को ऐसे क्लासिफाई करेंगे जिससे कि जो क्लासिफाइड सब सिस्टम जो बनेगा ना, वो सेल्फ कंटेन्ड हो, ना कि किसी पे डिपेंडेंट हो। सो फाइन ग्रेन का मतलब ये है कि हम एक बहुत बड़े सिस्टम को स्मॉल स्मॉल पार्ट्स में सब सिस्टम में हम डिवाइड करते हैं, और हम ऐसे डिवाइड करेंगे कि वो सेल्फ कंटेन कंपोनेंट हो जाए, वो डिपेंडेंट नहीं हो किसी पे। तो उसको कहा जाता है फाइन ग्रेन सिस्टम। समझ में आया? से यस और नो? Okay, only 2 people are responding. I don't know about others. Okay, so now we will be moving to the next slide. So architectural conflicts means using large grain component improve performance but reduces maintainability. अगर हम components को large grain में divide करते हैं, fine grain पे नहीं, तो performance तो आएगा, लेकिन maintainability काफी difficult होगा, communications बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे। Introducing redundant data improves availability but makes security more difficult. हम रिडंडेंट स्टोरेज डेटा हम बनाएंगे, लेकिन जब हम रिडंडेंट डेटा बनाते हैं हमारा डेटा सेट इंक्रीज हो जाता है और हमारे मल्टीपल मॉड्यूल्स आते हैं। तो एक मॉड्यूल पे सिक्योरिटी इम्पोज करना और दूसरे केस में मल्टीपल मॉड्यूल्स में सिक्योरिटी इंप्लीमेंट करना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट रहता है। So that's why redundant data improves availability, पर वो सिक्योरिटी के लिए थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है। समझ में आया? समझ में आया गाइस आप लोगों को? ओके नो, अंडरस्टूड नो? रिडंडेंट मतलब कि मल्टीपल सिस्टम्स। तो मल्टीपल सिस्टम्स में जैसे जैसे हम सिस्टम्स को बढ़ाएंगे सिक्योरिटी भी टफ होगा ना, सो दैट्स व्हाई। So this is an example of a robot control system where we can see that the entire system has been classified into various subsystems. You have vision system, you have arm control, gripper controller, packaging. So this will show you how So many subsystems has been created in a fine grain way. हमने इसको divide किया है so that dependency should be less and how they will be communicated. So this is an architecture design example. This is an architecture design example. So you can just go through. I'm giving you 2 minutes time to understand this diagram. Just a minute, guys. Now we have architectural design decisions. So these decisions, as the name explains, we need to take while making the design of any of the architecture, system architecture. So we need to identify that is there a generic application architecture that can be used. If there is a generic architecture, then you can reuse it and it will save your time. How well the system will be distributed, that you need to decide कि system को कैसे distribute करना है, कौन से जैसे कि let us say the example of cloud computing. So what rights we need to give to the end user and what rights should be with your CSP. What architectural styles are appropriate, what approach will be used to structure the system, how will the system be decomposed into different modules or subsystems, what control strategy to communicate in between different subsystems has to be used, how will the architectural design should be evaluated, and how should the system architecture should be documented. So ये सारे डिसाइड ये सारे के सारे जो पॉइंट्स लिखे हुए हैं ये सारे डिजाइन डिसीजंस हैं and it's needless to explain each one of them because this has been completed into the previous chapters. I hope there is no doubt these things, like we have done with the contents of the previous, we have completed these contents with the help of the previous chapters and all. So documents. So documents, SC is a lot about documents. In SC we do less code and focus more on documents so that everybody should be able to understand it. And the requirements will be very much clear. So you can also design document for the architectural design. The process of the architectural design process is an architectural design document. This will include number of graphical representation of the system along with the associated descriptive text. So सबसे बेस्ट एग्जांपल इसका अगर आपने .NET लिया होगा या तो फिर कोई वेब टेक्नोलॉजी लिया होगा, आपने पढ़ा होगा मॉडल व्यू कंट्रोलर. So that is example for this one. You need what things to be kept in a model, controller, viewer. तो वो क्या है? वो एक representation है सिस्टम का, राइट? आई होप यू नो अबाउट MVC, राइट? पता है कि नहीं पता है गाइस MVC आर्किटेक्चर? या अगर MVC नहीं पता, डोंट वरी, एटलीस्ट यू नो अबाउट 3-tier आर्किटेक्चर, 2-tier आर्किटेक्चर, N-tier आर्किटेक्चर. Those are graphical, those are can be the example of your representation of a system. So it should describe how the system is structured into subsystem and approaches adopted and how each subsystem will be structured into a module. The graphical model of the system present different perspective on the architecture. तो जैसा आपका ग्राफिकल मॉडल है उसके डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव जो है उसके आर्किटेक्चर पे फोकस करता है. So system organization reflects the basic strategy. It reflects about the structure of a system. तो सिस्टम आर्किटेक्चर में बेसिकली हम पढ़ेंगे ये शेयर्ड डेटा रिपोजिटरी के बारे में, ये शेयर्ड सर्विसेज एंड सर्वर साइड स्टाइल and an abstract machine or layered style. Shared repository means you know about ERP systems. ERP systems are very big systems. They will be working on a very big, what can I tell? स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। जैसे कि डेल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, डेल की बहुत सारी ब्रांचेस है, इट हैज ब्रांचेस इन पुणे, बैंगलोर, न्यू दिल्ली, गुड़गांव। तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम्स है, and they have a single company. So it is such a huge multinational company which has branches in India as well as outside of India. तो इन सब के लिए हमें एक शेयर्ड डेटा रिपोजिटरी चाहिए होगा जहाँ पे सारे लोग एक डेटाबेस को शेयर कर सकें। उसी तरह से यू हैव शेयर्ड सर्विसेज एंड सर्वर स्टाइल। सो शेयर्ड सर्विसेज क्या है? जैसे क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग में, क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग विल गिव यू सॉफ्टवेयर एज अ सर्विस, it will give you प्लेटफॉर्म एज अ सर्विस, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एज अ सर्विस। सो ये क्या होता है? ये सारे सर्विसेज शेयर्ड होते हैं मल्टीपल यूजर्स में। सो हाउ कम दिस विल बी शेयर्ड? इट विल बी शेयर्ड with the help of a virtualization technology and all. So not only cloud computing, if you will take any example of distributed systems, the resources will be shared. That is the main motivation. हम अपने वर्क को क्लाउड में माइग्रेट करते हैं, इंटरनेट में माइग्रेट करते हैं, क्योंकि इसको मल्टीपल यूजर शेयर कर सके। दैट इज द इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्ट। सो दैट्स व्हाई शेयर्ड डेटा रिपोजिटरी, शेयर्ड सर्विसेज, शेयर्ड सर्वर्स, ठीक है ना? और एल्स एन एब्स्ट्रैक्ट मशीन और ए लेयर स्टेप। अंडरस्टूड ऑल ऑफ यू? Is this is too much for today? Understood? Say yes or no. Okay. इसके बारे में फाइनल ईयर में एक सब्जेक्ट भी आएगा, क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग आएगा, माइक्रो सर्विसेज आएगा। एवरीथिंग इज बीइंग शेयर्ड नाउ। जितने बड़े से बड़े नेटवर्क जैसे अमेजोन हो गया, नेटफ्लिक्स हो गया, all of them they have the concept on sharing services and service, and obviously security will also be there. So repository model means a subsystem must exchange data, and all of you know that why it should be exchanging data. This may be done in two ways. Shared data is held in the central database and repository and may be accessed by all the subsystems. Each of the subsystems maintain its own database, still share and passes data explicitly to the other subsystem. That means they are communicating to each other. When large amount of data are to be shared, the repository model of the sharing is most commonly used. Example is Keystone Repository Database Management Systems, Management Information System, that is called as a MIS. MIS is basically used for ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. जैसे ये SAP का नाम सुना है? SAP। SAP एक MIS ERP सॉल्यूशन है। SAP सुना ना? आपके प्लेसमेंट के लिए आते हैं सैप, ऑरेकल, ये सारे MIS बेस्ड सिस्टम है। They will work on a repository model. So this is the diagram for the project repository, a centralized repository from where the submodels, subsystems like design, code, program, report generator, design analyzer, design translator, these are the subsystems and they will be communicating with the centralized repository called as a project repository. Understood all of you this now? Okay. Now it has some advantages and disadvantages also. The advantages are efficient way to share large amount of data. As you know, subsystem need not be connected. Concern with how the data is produced. Centralized management, its backup and security. तो subsystem जो है वो सिर्फ डेटा मिलना चाहिए उनको, बाकी डेटा कैसे मेंटेन हो रहा है, उस पर कैसे सिक्योरिटी इम्पोज करना है, उसका बैकअप, रिडंडेंट डेटा कैसे बनाना है, क्या बनाना है, वो सब सिस्टम्स की मगजमारी नहीं है। That is the responsibility of your repository only. isn't it? आप मुझे बोल सकते हो कि क्या होता? कैन यू टेल मी व्हाट वुड हैव हैपेंड अगर ये सेंट्रलाइज मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम नहीं होता था? तो हर एक सब सिस्टम आपके पास अपना अपना डेटाबेस रहता। तो कैन यू टेल मी क्या प्रॉब्लम होता उस वक्त? कम ऑन टेल मी। ओके वेट, थिंक दैट सेंट्रल रिपोजिटरी नहीं होता तो क्या होता है यहाँ पे? हाई कपलिंग, एम्बिग्यूटी रहता है, ये कनिका सा। वेरी गुड। एम्बिग्यूटी रहता, कंसिस्टेंसी मेंटेन नहीं रहता, डेटाबेस स्कैटर्ड रहते हैं। उसमें से ऐसा हो सकता है कि 3 डेटाबेस अपडेट हो, बाकी दूसरा अपडेट नहीं हो, कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं रहेगा, एम्बिग्यूटी रह जाएगा। वेरी गुड। सो दीज आर द द ड्रॉबैक्स। अगर ये नहीं होता तो उसके ड्रॉबैक्स बता रहा हूँ। नाउ इसके डिसएडवांटेजेस भी है। सब सिस्टम मस्ट एग्री ऑन रिपोजिटरी डेटा मॉडल, इनएविटेबली एक कॉम्प्रोमाइज। पूरा का पूरा हम उस पर डिपेंडेंट है, उसके रूल्स को हमें फॉलो करना होगा। नो स्कोप फॉर स्पेसिफिक मैनेजमेंट पॉलिसीज इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं कर सकते सब सिस्टम्स। उसको वही पॉलिसीज इम्प्लीमेंट करने होंगे, मानने होंगे जो सेंट्रल रिपोजिटरी बताएगा। डिफिकल्ट टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट एफिशिएंटली, उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट भी नहीं कर सकते। एंड फेलियर ऑफ रिपोजिटरी अफेक्ट द होल सिस्टम। अगर वो सेंट्रल रिपोजिटरी फेल हो जाएगा तो पूरे सब सिस्टम डाउन स्टेज में चले जाएंगे। दे कैन नॉट वर्क। दिस इज द डिसएडवांटेजेस। आई होप इट्स क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू, राइट? क्लियर? So now someone has asked me that Dhruvi, that why it is difficult to distribute. Actually, you have so many mechanisms for that one. You need to migrate it. जब हम इसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना पड़ेगा, you need to migrate it. You need to search another resources into the network, and then you need to decide कि मेरे पास अगर 10 choices है अपने डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड डेटाबेस को एक्सपेंड करने के लिए, तो मैं इसमें से किसको सिलेक्ट करूँ? उसके बाद अगर वो काफी दूर में है वो डेटा सेंटर, तो उसमें नेटवर्क कॉस्ट आ जाएगा, कॉस्ट फॉर मैनेजमेंट आ जाएगा, लेटेंसी बढ़ जाएगी, आरटीटी टाइम्स बढ़ जाएगा। दोज आर द रीजन। अब समझ में आया ध्रुवी? सो मेनी थिंग्स विल बी कमिंग बैक हियर। ये सारा चीज आप पढ़ोगे when you will take cloud computing and all. Once you are going to distribute your systems, it has to go through to many of the policies, so many rules will be coming into the picture. और जब हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते भी है ना, तो 2 तरीके से होता है। एक हॉट माइग्रेशन होता है, दूसरा कोल्ड माइग्रेशन होता है। सो मेनी थिंग्स आर देयर। सो will be coming, it's out of the scope for the present topic right now, so I'm not going into a depth of that. ठीक है? So repository model का descriptions, when to use, advantages and disadvantages has been mentioned here. I won't be repeating it. I will be giving 2 minutes of time to so that you all can understand and read it. And if you have any doubt, please do ask me. It's the same thing being repeated. So you can just go through this one. समझ में आया आप लोगों को? अंडरस्टूड ऑल ऑफ यू? चलो, we will move to the next slide now. So you have a client server model to which all of you understood. So distributed system model which show how data and processing is distributed across a range of components. To see, these are set of standalone servers which provide specific services such as printing, data management. We will be having a set of clients which calls on these services. So set of clients होंगे जो कि services लेंगे server से. A network which allows clients to access the server. So obviously we will be requiring a network which will be connecting your end users, clients and server. A good example of client server architecture is a library system that may provide multiple services to multiple students. And the students are clients here, and the services that the server is giving will be a books database, a book finder and an order place. So it will be looking like this one. See this. Multiple clients. Multiple clients are connected to the server with the help of internet, and server is giving services like catalog, film clip files, digitized photographs, films and photo info through web server, picture server, video server and catalog server. और हर एक सर्वर का अपना अलग पोर्ट नंबर होगा, ये तो पता ही है आपको। समझ में आया? ये सुनो, क्लाइंट सर्वर हम सेमेस्टर 1 से पढ़ते हुए आ रहे हैं, ठीक है? So इसके एडवांटेजेस क्या हैं? डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड distribution of data and services is straightforward. Data and services are distributed. Make effective use of network system. Easy to add new servers or upgrade the existing servers. Disadvantages क्या है? No shared data model, so subsystems use different data organization. Data interchange may be inefficient क्योंकि हर एक के फॉर्मेट्स अलग अलग होंगे, डेटा इंटरचेंज हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. Redundant management in each server because same services has been given to multiple clients. No central register of name and services. It may be hard to find out what servers and services are available. Centralized mechanism nahi hai yahan pe. So these are the descriptions, when to use, advantages and disadvantages. The same thing that we have seen in the previous slide. So please go through to this one. I will give you 2 minutes of time for this one. आप लोग को समझ में आया ये? Do you know the meaning of denial of service attack? See the disadvantages. Each service in a single point of failure so susceptible to denial of service attack. अगर कोई भी एक पॉइंट में अगर फेल होता है, दिस कैन बी विक्टिमाइज्ड with respect to denial of service attack, or server will fail. The performance may be unpredictable because it depends on the network as well as the system. अगर and DDoS attack और DOS attack, that is denial of service attack, ये नेटवर्क में होता है. अगर नेटवर्क ही फेल हो गया तो आपके सर्वर तो काम करने बंद ही कर देंगे. So maybe management problem if servers are owned by different organizations. So that is the meaning of DOS, denial of service attack. Denial of service attack में अगर कोई भी पॉइंट वीक रहता है तो वहां से इजिली अटैक हो सकता है नेटवर्क में, और वो पूरा जो नेटवर्क है वो फ्लडेड हो जाएगा विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू फॉल्स रिक्वेस्ट, एंड अल्टीमेटली व्हाट विल हैपन, कंजेशन विल हैपन, सर्वर वोंट बी एबल टू गिव सर्विसेज बैक टू द यूजर. ठीक है, सो दैट इज द डिसएडवांटेजेस. Now you have abstract machine, that is a layered model. It is used to model the interfacing of a subsystem, organizes a system into a set of layers, जैसे कि अपने OSI मॉडल में था, TCP/IP के मॉडल में है. ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का आर्किटेक्चर भी एक लेयर मॉडल है. Supports the incremental development of subsystem in different layers when layer interface changes or the existing layer is affected. So however artificial to structure systems in this way. So often artificial to the structure system in this way. Artificial मतलब कि जैसे subsystems का content रहेगा वो सारे contents उसके layer पे रहेंगे, and these layers will be communicating with the other layers. So सबसे best इसका example है जो हमने data communication में पढ़ा था Fortune book में, OSI reference layer. So you have these layer architecture, very easy to understand. Now you can see the description of the layer architecture. See this, then I will ask you some question upon this one. Can you see when, can you just see this one? Spread across several teams in which is team responsibility for a layer of functionality when there is a requirement of multi-level security. So layer architecture is good. It allows replacement of entire layer so as long as the interface is maintained. Redundant facilities can be provided in each layer to increase the dependability of the system. It is authentication, जो कि हर एक layer में importance है. In practice, providing a clean separation between layer is often difficult, and a high-level layer may have to interact directly with low-level layers rather than through the layers immediately below it. Performance can be a problem because multiple levels of interpretations of a service request as it is processed at each of the layer. तो ये तो हमने लास्ट सेमेस्टर में पढ़ा है कि जितना ज्यादा लेयर्स होगा उतना ज्यादा कम्युनिकेशन होगा और उतना ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी बढ़ेगा. So what you need to do? You need to reduce these layers. You need to make these layers independent with each other. जितना हो सके इंडिपेंडेंसी मेंटेन करना है, हो सके, पूरा नहीं कर सकते, हो सके तो. And that's why they will be depending upon the other layer once they are going to complete their layer jobs. मैं आपको फिर से रिपीट करवाता हूँ. हम लेयर आर्किटेक्चर पे इसलिए जाते हैं क्योंकि हमारा सिस्टम सब मॉड्यूल्स में डिवाइड हो सकता है और हर एक सब मॉड्यूल्स के अपने खुद के कुछ काम रहते हैं जो कि उस लेयर पे होता है। एंड लेयर्स विल बी डिपेंडेंट अपॉन ईच अदर। जब तक ऊपर का लेयर खत्म नहीं होगा नीचे के लेयर में जाएगा ही नहीं। ठीक है, दो थिंग्स हैज बीन मेंशन्ड। तो मॉड्यूलर डिकम्पोजिशन स्टाइल में क्या क्या है? स्टाइल्स ऑफ डिकम्पोजिंग सबसिस्टम इनटू मॉड्यूल्स, and you don't have any rigid distinction between system organizations and your modular decompositions. Subsystems and modules means a subsystem is a system in its own right whose operation is independent of the services provided by the other subsystem. Obviously, मेरा subsystems आपके subsystem से different होगा. Subsystems are composed of modules and have defined interfaces which are used for the communications with the other subsystem. Now let me speak. If I'm having a 10 subsystems, I'm having the 10 APIs और यूजर इंटरफेसेस, क्योंकि जितना ज़्यादा हम सब सिस्टम्स में डिवाइड करेंगे उतने ही ज़्यादा उसके इंटरफेस बढ़ेंगे और इंटरफेस से हमें कम्युनिकेट करना होता है। ठीक है ना? सो ए मॉड्यूल इज सिस्टम component that provides services to the other component but would not normally be considered as a separate system. They are subsystems actually, please remember. So another structural label where subsystems are decomposed into modules will be object-oriented decomposition, where you decompose the system into a set of communicating objects. Communicating objects means object-oriented concepts. Function-oriented pipelining, where you decompose a system into functional module that accept input and transform it into the output data. So ये second जो point है pipelining वाला, ये हमने Unix में पढ़ा है। यूनिक्स में क्या होता है, इसकी एक इनपुट होगी, इसका आउटपुट होगा पाइपलाइनिंग का, और एक पाइपलाइनिंग का जो आउटपुट है वो दूसरी पाइपलाइन की इनपुट जैसा एक्ट करेगा. सो लाइकवाइज इट विल बी कीप ऑन मूविंग. You have the different object modules for the same models, that is structure the system into set of loosely coupled objects with well-defined interfaces. ये loosely coupled होने चाहिए, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया. It should have a well-defined interfaces through which it will be communicating. Object-oriented decomposition is concerned with identifying object classes and their attributes and their operation. That's absolutely true, because we are talking about object-oriented schemes and all. So when implemented, objects are created from these classes and have some control models used to coordinate with the other operations. So this is the diagram for how the objects will be keep on communicating with the other objects in a distributed system design or a architecture. You can just follow this. I'm giving you 1 minute of time to understand. It's very much easy and it's equivalent to your class diagram. All of you, please note this diagram for 1 minute. I hope it's clear to all of you now. Then object model advantages. Objects are loosely coupled. Their implementations can be modified without affecting the other objects because they are loosely coupled. To affect karega hi nahi. The objects may reflect real world entities in basic definition of object. Object-oriented implementation languages are widely used nowadays. Object interfaces changes may cause problems and complex entities may be hard to represent as objects. So this is a invoice processing systems and the flow of the different entities. फंक्शन ओरिएंटेड पाइपलाइनिंग. सो पाइपलाइनिंग में क्या होता है, इनपुट पाइपलाइन ए के लिए फिर उसका आउटपुट. सो पाइपलाइनिंग ए का जो आउटपुट है वो पाइपलाइन बी के लिए इनपुट जैसा काम करेगा. देन आउटपुट, देन इनपुट, देन आउटपुट, देन इनपुट, देन आउटपुट फॉर योर पाइपलाइन. So it supports transformation reuse. Institutive organizations for stakeholders communication. It is very easy to add new infra transformations. It is relatively simple to implement as either a concurrent or sequential systems can be used. However, it requires a common format of data transfer along the pipeline and difficult to support event-based interactions. So what do you mean by event-based? Event जैसे है ना, जैसे आपका माउस क्लिक इवेंट, की प्रेस इवेंट, सो हर एक इवेंट का कुछ एक्शन होता है. So they are talking about the same thing here, right? I think others things are also there. I won't be able to complete this today, नहीं तो बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. So I have completed till here, that is function oriented pipeline model advantages. So आप मैडम को बता देना जब when she will take class next time that we need to start from here. ठीक है? Who will remember this? कौन याद करके रखेगा ये? कनिका सा एंड ताहा, राइट? तो आप ये मैडम को याद दिला देना that we need to start from function oriented pipeline model advantages and all. So this is the same pipeline that we have studied in the Unix. I hope ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम खत्म हो चुका है ना आप लोगों का? ओएस हो चुका है. हाँ, तो बस ओएस में आपने पढ़ा था ये वही सेम पाइपलाइन. ठीक है? So that's all from my side today. I will be ending up the session now itself. If I want I can complete, लेकिन ये too much हो जाएगा आपके लिए, बहुत ज़्यादा. You won't be able to digest it. So that's why I'm ending up here only. And it's already about to be 3 o'clock. So I took the entire session now. Other things I will be teaching you afterwards. Thank you. Thank you, Manoj.